Hello, my name is Lee Davey. I'm not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I'm someone who doesn't drink alcohol, and I spent every waking moment of my life helping other people do the same. And today I'm going to answer a question from Elise, member of the Strive community. And Elise is asking, how can I quiet my mind without the use of alcohol? Now this is a really difficult question to answer, Elise, because I don't know what it's like to be inside your mind. But I do know what it's like to be inside my mind, and I know that I have a very, very busy mind, right? So I guess the first thing to concentrate on is what are the types of things that are going through your mind. So when I was someone who drank alcohol, the things that would go through my mind were all very heavily stress and anxiety related, invariably around money and around my career, okay? And I was always in a very negative frame of mind, so the thoughts that would go through my brain would always be very negative. But the important thing to stress here is I had no idea that these thoughts were negative at the time, and how these thoughts were affecting my biology, how they were affecting my health, how they were affecting my mental well-being. Because back then when I was drinking, I wasn't operating out of my conscious thought as often as that I am today. So I think studies show that 95% of the time we're operating like a zombie. We're allowing the body to take control of our subconscious mind. It's only 5% of the time that we're actually in conscious thought. Like right now, I'm in conscious thought as I am doing this podcast, right? Because I'm focused on the present and on the now. Hopefully you're focused and present on the now listening to this, although that's not always the case. I know sometimes when I listen to podcasts, I'm doing something else at the same time, or I might be in subconscious mode, right? But right now, I'm in conscious mode, right? So, super important. How do you get to be in conscious frame of thinking, the conscious mind more than a subconscious mind on a regular, more habitual basis? So you can learn and understand and examine the thoughts that are going through your head with more clarity. The biggest piece of advice I could give you is to stop drinking. So if you stop drinking, then that gives you if you stop drinking, that allows you to cultivate awareness in your life, to shift more frequently into conscious awareness, and to start to do something about what's going on in your mind, because your awareness of those topics, those conversations have been more raised. You're more aware. Now it sounds like you're already aware because you're asking a question about what to do with these voices in your mind, right? But I'm telling you, if you were to stop drinking, it would help you to have a greater understanding of what it is that is going through your mind, why you're so worried about the busyness of what's going on in your brain. So for example, I find it difficult to believe that there are people out there that have a busier mind than mine. Like Liza continually tells me that I must be suffering from ADHD or something, that I rarely look her in the eye, that she rarely can captivate my attention, that she can tell that I'm away somewhere else thinking about something else. And I am always thinking about something else. But invariably the things that I'm thinking about are far more positive than the things I used to think about when I was drinking alcohol, right? And that's because when I stopped drinking alcohol, it has allowed me to move into a space of meaning and purpose, to really start to understand the capabilities that I have as a human being, because alcohol that blocked my feelings for so long isn't present anymore. So I now feel, and I'll feel what life is like. I now feel my pain, and I'll feel my suffering, and as a result of that, I can grow out of those experiences and become a much more rounded human being. I'm able to focus on service and gratitude and philanthropy more, because I am not in that selfish mode that alcohol brings me into, which takes me to the work that I do on Strive. Okay, so for me, I would say that because I stopped drinking alcohol and now I have discovered a meaning and purpose as a result of that shift, I love having a busy mind, because it's always operating at a frequency whereby I'm doing good in the world, right? And for me, that is super important. So I think in terms of giving up alcohol, it allows you, with the right support network and the right coaching system in place and the right mentors, to start to focus on meaning and purpose in your life. And that discovery, that process of finding out what meaning and purpose is all about, will lead you to examine what it is about the busy mind that is affecting you and is bothering you. So if you're continually beating yourself up all the time, if you're continually telling yourself that you're not good enough, if you're continually worrying and are anxious about money, about relationships, about setting foot out of the house, about doing a good job at work, about what people think about you, okay, then without alcohol, yes, you're going to feel the pain and suffering more intense without alcohol, because you're not blocking it out. But humans, Mother Nature created us to be able to deal with these feelings, to be able to deal with this pain and suffering. And almost everybody who comes through the Truth About Alcohol intensive or the taster experiences, who learn to sit with the painful experiences and the thoughts that they have, all of them later admit that it's not as painful and the suffering is not as great as they thought it once was. Now obviously that's a very subjective thing to say, we're all very different, but I can only give you the experience that I've had at Strive, right? So if you've got a really busy mind, then I'm kind of saying, what is wrong with that? I think that's a good thing, because it means you're not kind of walking around like a fucking zombie, right? You are actually thinking about things. Now that could be negative, or it could be positive. Now the thing is, the trick here is to understand that there's not really any negative or positive thoughts or any negative or positive emotions. There's just thoughts and there's just emotions. So let's say, for example, that I continually think that I'm not good enough. Well, a good example is, the other day I posted on Strive that I believe that my working class background and my working class culture has given me a ceiling or a limit around how I think about finance, and how I have a poor attitude towards money as a result of my working class upbringing. And Serena got me to see, quite a light bulb moment actually, that very often it's not the money side of things that is causing us an issue, it's a low self-esteem issue that is causing a money problem. Well, of course that is true, right? Because I know and understand money, but the decisions that I make around money are actually caused and created by my low self-esteem. Now, I'm aware of my low self-esteem, and I have conversations into my head about my low self-esteem, but I think that's a good thing, because now I'm having those conversations, because I am not drinking, because I have the Strive Forum, because I have people like Serena who I can bat ideas against. I can get to the bottom of my low self-esteem. And if I want to get above my low self-esteem, then I need to learn and read more and understand more about people who have high self-esteem, about how low self-esteem works, about all that kind of stuff. But I cannot do that if I'm not thinking about it, and I cannot do that if I'm not thinking about it in my conscious awareness, so I can do something about it. And it won't be in my conscious awareness as clear as it is right now if I'm drinking alcohol, okay? Last but not least, and then I'll shut up on this one, is if the thoughts and feelings are too much for you and you are really struggling, okay, which sounds like you are, then on top of all the advice I gave you, the number one advice I would give you, above all of that, and I maybe should have said this first, is to develop a mindfulness practice, is to start meditation. Because meditation and mindfulness is all about sitting with your thoughts and your feelings. And I've been doing the Sam Harris meditations lately and the Waking Up app. You can download that on the Google Store or the Apple Store. And Sam always says, he hasn't done in the first 7 or 8 meditations, where did that thought come from? Where's that thought gone? And it gets you to think, oh, there it is, oh, it's gone. And once you give that thought some thought, it disappears. And also you understand that you're not in control of these thoughts. Where did it come from? Did I just create it? No, it just turned up. Okay? It just turned up. So we are not our thoughts. Okay? So if you think that you are, you're not. But what people like Sam is teaching us, and you don't have to just use his meditation app, there's loads of different meditation apps out there. It allows us to sit with these thoughts and these feelings and to experience them, because we need to experience them. Because right now you're probably thinking that you can't, that you don't have the capability to do that, both mentally or physically, but you do. But you only will find this out. You will only find out how strong you are through exposure therapy, as David Burns said. You need to actually experience what it feels like to feel uncomfortable. So there you are. My thoughts on the busy mind. A, what's wrong with having a busy mind? I think it's a good thing. B, if you stop drinking, you will be able to drift more into conscious awareness rather than subconscious awareness, which means you can analyze these busy thoughts and you can do something about the ones that you think are causing you a problem, and you can learn and you can grow from them. You cannot learn or grow if you're drinking alcohol. And finally, a mindfulness and meditation habit. If you do that every day, then that will allow you to learn to sit with these busy thoughts and to quiet your mind, or to experience these thoughts that are bothering you, and to learn and to understand that you are capable, as a beautiful human being you are, to deal with it all. Alright? My name is Lee Davey. I am not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone that doesn't drink alcohol, and I spend every waking moment of my life absolutely baking myself to death under the Californian heat in front of this red brick building, trying to help other people do the same. And if you want to learn more about this type of stuff, then on Tuesday, January the 1st, when you're about to start your new year, your new life, a group of us will be learning to become someone who doesn't drink alcohol for a month, to understand and to feel what that's like. If you want to join us, reply to this email, reply to this video, or email me at truthboutalcohol@gmail.com, or visit www.thetruthboutalcohol.co.uk. And the quicker you sign up, the cheaper that will be. And if you want to take the leap even further and want to be someone who doesn't drink alcohol permanently, then why not take the intensive experience? Again, you can contact me or go to the website. That's a full year of working with me and the rest of the people at Truth About Alcohol to really turn your life around and to become a brand new person. Finally, if you just want to join Strive and find a like-minded community and join the movement, which I wholeheartedly recommend every single person who listens to this podcast does, then head to the website www.thetruthboutalcohol.co.uk and join there. Take care of yourselves, folks.